hands of Kawhi Leonard.
Raptors fans hope to seal the deal tonight.
Won't go, and there'll be a Game 6 in Oakland.
Justin Trudeau.
NBA Finals used as a political playground.
Drew Shear. His weakness will cost you.
Message that we don't want extradition to China.
Protesters in Toronto speak about Hong Kong. Humber News starts now. Hi, I'm Pragati Kaushal coming to you from our newsroom at Humber North Campus. Thanks for joining us. It's Thursday, June 13th, and here's what's making news this hour. Hong Kong police cleared the street of protesters after a day and night of violent clashes with unarmed demonstrators. Police tear gas and pepper spray in a series of quarrels with anti-extradition law campaigners. The Hong Kong Hospital Authority said 72 people have been hospitalized. A semblance of normalcy returned to the street of Hong Kong this morning. However, thousands are still protesting against the bill that would allow people to be sent to mainland China for trial. It is the largest series of political demonstrations since the former colonies' handover from British to Chinese rule in 1997. On Sunday, an estimated 1 million marched against the bill. Many have described the demonstrations as the city's last battle for its freedom and distinct identity from China. Meanwhile, in Toronto, Hong Kong experts haven't held back in voicing their discontent. Hiren Mansukhani has a report.
No to extradition bill! Say no to extradition bill!
Chants, slogans and clamors filled the air outside the Hong Kong Economic and Trade Office in Toronto on Wednesday. Hong Kong expats vociferously protested against the infamous extradition bill in the country. The bill will allow the Chinese government to extradite anybody suspected of criminal activity. The bill has yet to be passed in Hong Kong's parliament. Civilians in the country have already expressed their frustration against the potential legislation by taking to the streets in alarming numbers. Gloria Fung is the president of the Canada-Hong Kong link. The lobby group held a march on Sunday as well as a rally on Wednesday to protest against the bill. Fung, who has been an activist in Hong Kong since the 1980s, explained why the bill is critical to Canadians as well.
In Hong Kong, we have altogether 300,000 Canadians living and working there. Therefore, it is not just a Hong Kong issue. It is also a Canadian issue.
She said the initiative taken by Hong Kong's youth to voice their opinion has moved her.
They are our future. We do treasure their voices to be heard.
Fung, along with her aides, presented a letter to the Chief Commissioner of the Hong Kong Economic and Trade Office in a show of solidarity.
We strongly condemn the Hong Kong government for treating the city's fundamental rule of law as close to nothing.
Protesters were emotional as they brandished banners and signs denouncing the autocratic nature of the Chinese government.
It has ramped up and escalated its human rights crackdowns to levels that we haven't seen since the Cultural Revolution.
Although the protests in Hong Kong have led politicians to delay the passing of the bill, police violence has led to over 70 injuries. The people suspect that this bill could be used to crack down on dissidents against the Chinese government. There is hope that people's voices in Hong Kong and around the world will be heard. Hiren Mansukhani, Humber News.
Former Prime Minister John Chrétien said he is willing to go to China to negotiate bringing home two imprisoned Canadians. Michael Kovrig and Michael Spavor were arrested in China on charges of espionage and endangering national security. The suggestion was made by Brian Mulroney towards current Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. He also suggested that Chrétien take his son-in-law André Dumouriez, who is held in high respect by the Chinese. Both men have good relations with China, and the hope are that they will ask nicely they can persuade the Chinese government. In more international news, Sudan is experiencing a crackdown following attack by the military-led government in Khartoum. Lola Wahid with the story.
Over the last few weeks, Khartoum has been in a state of chaos. The ruling Transnational Military Council implemented a brutal crackdown on Sudan in response to the strike led by the pro-democracy group Sudanese Professional Association. So far, over 100 people have been killed since the violence began after the SPA sit-in on June 3rd. An anonymous source in the capital told Humber News that many people around the world are desperate to reach their family members.
Due to the internet, which is being blocked out by the TMC, which is the Transitional Military Council, which ordered the telecom companies to shut down the internet from the public, and people were not able to communicate.
In the wake of the blockade, there has been increasing global concern about the country's future. In Canada, Global Affairs Minister Chrystia Freeland stated, Canada is prepared to do what it can to support a civilian-led transition to a democratically elected government in Sudan. Members of the Sudanese community in Canada, like Mazen Osman, continue to worry about their loved ones in Khartoum.
We want to show our support and tell them that, hey, we're here, to you. We know what you're going. We will try our best to make your voice loud and clear. And we'll do the best that we can do to petition and have our politicians to say something and actually act on this.
Only time will tell whether Sudan will continue operating under a military government or finally make the change toward democratic civilian rule. Lola Wahid, Humber News.
2 oil tankers are badly damaged in the Gulf of Oman following suspected targeted attacks. Search and rescue teams from Iran rescued 44 sailors from the stricken tankers. The caused oil prices to surge and raise 4% as a response to the attack in the already heightened tension in the Middle East. According to Taiwan state-owned petrol company, one of the ships were allegedly hit by a torpedo. The second tanker was damaged in an attack that punctured its hull. The U.S. accused Iran of using naval mines in an attack on 4 other oil tankers last month. Iran denied responsibility. It's Pride Month, and all around the world changes to gay marriage laws are being made. In Ecuador, some celebrated victory as same-sex marriage just got legalized. The court ruled in favor of 2 couples who have been fighting to have their partnership legally recognized in the predominantly Catholic country. Closer to home, Canada's federal election is still some months away, but the airwaves have already become a political battleground. New attacks hit screen across Canada, while Raptors fans had their eyes glued to their TVs. Justin Mowat reports.
Andrew Scheer, another Conservative Prime Minister?
Andrew Scheer becomes a bobblehead and is compared to Doug Ford in these new attack ads by Engage Canada. Justin Trudeau's track record is judged in a familiar way in another ad by Shaping Canada's Future. It's obvious to many why they were shown during the game.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? You're never going to get a bigger audience. This is a great natural audience. I mean, Canada, all of Canada, so just people in Toronto, or at least significant portions of Canada, are watching Raptors basketball right now.
But advertisers are also taking advantage of the massive audience far ahead of election season for another key reason.
The writ will be dropped, the actual call for the election, on, I think it's June 30th, so that's coming up. And right now, where there'll be control of ad spending during an election, right now, before the writ is dropped, it's unlimited.
His carbon tax is making it too expensive to drive.
The third-party political groups behind the ads aren't affiliated with official parties. But Shaping Canada's Future took some cues from a 2015 ad run by the Harper Conservatives. It even featured the same actors, but tweaked the message a little bit from last time.
Justin Trudeau. He was never ready.
Attack ads are nothing new.
Stephen Harper has had 10 years to get our economy moving, and he's failed.
Viewers are familiar with the narrative they usually follow, with the opponent in the crosshair and their record placed under scrutiny.
It is not ultimately really about a substantive discussion of any kind of core issue or platform or policy point. Most of the time, it tends to be more about perception of personality and about, again, getting people to look at leaders in certain ways.
Why did it take so long for the Prime Minister to fire his ambassador?
And don't expect ads to turn more positive once spending rules come into effect.
Unfortunately, it's been shown that negative advertising in politics works far better than positive. You know, it's nice to talk about what you stand for, which people want, but it's a whole lot easier to frame your opponent as, what they're talking about. Justin Trudeau, once again, is not being ready.
Raptors fans can expect to see more ads tonight during Game 6 and up until the end of the month before spending regulations come into effect. The estimated cost of the ads is tens of thousands of dollars apiece. But the real impact of attack ad season will come when Canadians head to the polls in October. Justin Mowat, Humber News.
Toronto police are calling for the public help in solving cell phone robberies. Marcia Nanovata has the story.
Police released a video from the scene showing the robberies inside a cell phone store in Toronto. 2 male robbers entered a Freedom Mobile store and assaulted an employee and an 83-year-old customer. While police continue to look for these suspects, they have had success in a number of other cell phone robbery cases. A 6-month investigation called the Matrix Bandits focused on the increase of cell phone store robberies in the GTA, and police announced they've solved 23 out of 32 robberies. Police say the robberies are considered to be takeover style because of the threats and use of force.
The initial suspects were known to each other and communicated and recurred their mails through the use of social media platforms, switching up their tactics, their clothing, and their jurisdiction of their robberies in an attempt to evade police.
Police are asking anyone with information to call Crime Stoppers. Martina Novarita, Humber News.
Some Torontonians are trying to search for Zen in Nathan Phillips' cure by doing yoga. Trank Tren has a story.
If you want to reach your arms up, go ahead and bring them up. So take your time to roll up to stand. We're going to come and stand at the back of the yoga mat.
The city of Toronto is hosting yoga sessions open to public all summer till September 11th. The sessions encourage workers to stress and breathe.
Today it was extra special to be able to come out from City Hall where I work and have half an hour of total relaxation. It was a beautiful sunny day.
And then left foot down, and we'll start to walk the fingers back towards the toes so that we're full.
We want to promote physical and mental well-being, and Yoga in the Square offers the opportunity for staff to get out from behind their desk.
Led by instructor Charlotte Simon, this class takes place every Wednesday, followed by live music from Canada's legendary musicians, some of whom are Juno Award winners.
Enjoy the good weather while it lasts. And what a better way to get some vitamin D and then to do yoga, enjoy some music in the sun. Changchun, Humber News.
All buildings are a major polluter when it comes to carbon emission. Humber College became the first building in North Campus to achieve American Zero Carbon Design certification. Sadur Gagona has the story.
Canada grapples with climate change on national level, and Humber College is leading with a building transformation of its own. It transformed its 30-year-old annex building into a zero-carbon building.
The important story here is that we're trying to show that you can go and retrofit your existing buildings and make them basically emissions-free, and it's doable.
Working inside.
Retrofitting means transforming the building design to reduce carbon emissions by changing conventional architecture. Rui Raposo, project manager, explained the changes made to the existing infrastructure of the annex building.
So fan coil is used to balance the temperature of the air. So in each area of our building, we have a fan coil providing the air and balancing and going heat or going cool. Depending on what temperature you would be set up in your thermostat. Working inside.
The building is airtight, including new triple pane windows. The insulated walls keep the inside temperatures unaffected by the outside weather conditions. About $7 million was invested in transformation of the building. The building annex will see a 70% reduction in energy use that will help to reduce the college's greenhouse gas emissions. Generally, buildings are responsible for 40% of annual energy consumption and up to 30% of all energy-related greenhouse gas emissions. Renovations to the annex building were designed by BH Architects. The building will be in use after the construction is completed this summer. Saidur Gagona, Humber News.
We are going to take a quick break. Still ahead, the latest in sports. And Brendan Peterburn will have your 3-day forecast.